Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be talking about the Brigada Panther or the Brigantine Panther. I don't know quite how you say it, but this is basically a French Panther. It is a French tier 6 medium tank that is basically a Panther but French. And it's at tier 6, so it's not like the tier 7 or tier 8 Panthers, but it's basically a tier 6 one, and it is basically the Panther just moved down a tier and turned French. So yeah, we'll go over the stats of this tank here, and then I'll give my thoughts on it and when I think it will maybe come into the game. So the HP of this tank is 1050, kind of standard for a tier 6. DPM is a little low at 1900. Penetration is 150 on its regular. Its APCR does have a 194 penetration, so that's not super bad penetration for a tier 6 there. And of course, your HE at tier 6 isn't really anything, it's just 200. The alpha on this tank, just like the tier 7 Panther, is going to be 160, and your reload is a 5.05 second reload, and then with all the equipment, I bet you can get that down below 5 seconds, which is a pretty nice reload, decent actually for a tier 6 in my opinion. The accuracy of this tank is 2.08 base aim time with a dispersion of 0.308, which is pretty accurate for a tier 6. That's not the worst dispersion out there and not the worst aim time either. The gun depression angles, 8 degrees, which is going to come in very handy, you'll see later in why, and 20 degrees of gun elevation. As well, the tank is very quick, 55 km/h forward speed and 20 in reverse, which is pretty mobile for a tank that is, you know, where's the weight on this tank? For a 46-ton tier 6 vehicle, yes, this is a massive boy. This is going to be absolutely amazing for ramming people out on the battlefield. All those stuff like Cromwells, anything like that, you're going to be able to absolutely decimate with a ram from this vehicle, since it does have a very nice 55 km/h forward speed. So now for the very last thing of the armor profile, the very last thing of the statistics, the armor profile. And like I said, this is basically a tier 7 Panther put down at tier 6. It has a nice armor profile, just like the tier 7 one. And like I said, with that 8 degrees of gun depression, yeah, you got a massive spaced armor turret there that is just, you know, pretty much impenetrable from, you know, even when you're on, you know, land, flat ground like this. With that spaced armor, it is going to be extremely difficult to penetrate this tank. And in between those cracks right there, it is around 100 millimeters, which is an easy pin. As well, the hatch on this does have actually these little little areas right here where it's actually impenetrable. So I'm pretty sure a lot of players would get thrown off by that and try to shoot the very top, but actually bounce, which, you know, could be an advantage on this tank. The front plate is around 137, so you'll probably be able to bounce tier 5s on that, just going frontally. And then, of course, if you're angling it like this, you can get up to, you know, 150 or so millimeters right there, bouncing quite a few tier 5s and maybe even some tier 6 vehicles. Concerning the side armor, it is, of course, really not much. You do have a little bit of a side skirt here that will protect you from maybe a KV2 if they're derping HE, and it goes a little low. You might be able to, you know, not take as much damage, but there's a massive strip right there with only 54 millimeters, that if a smasher, KV2, SU, anything like that gets a hold of you, yeah, you're going to be nuked. As well, the side of the turret is just as weak at around 50 millimeters, and the rear is even weaker than that, around 47, 50 millimeters of armor there. But the turret actually has a good amount of armor on the rear. It's equally armored all the way around the tank. So the lower plate, though, on this tank here is about 100 millimeters or so, and it's not the biggest lower plate either, which is actually going to be very nice, because at those lower tiers, you know, some people aren't the best at aiming, and they might try to aim for the lower plate and, you know, hit your tracks or your upper plate and bounce, which, you know, probably won't happen that often, but it could. So all around, it has a decent armor profile from the front. If you're getting at these, you know, angles like this, you can get up to almost 200 millimeters of armor on that, which is going to be bouncing pretty much everything, just like the tier 7 Panther. And then this gun here, this turret here has a massive gun mela on it that is going to probably be bouncing a lot of shells on that as well, which is going to be amazing for your 8 degrees of gun depression when you're going hold down. So in general, I heard from, you know, some people who have played this tank, because this is in testing right now, that they enjoyed the tank and they thought it was really fun, which seems like it would be, but it's not overpowered, it's not underpowered, it is balanced, which this is something that I have been noticing a trend lately. Wargaming is actually releasing balanced tanks. The 260 was balanced. Kanonen was balanced. What was before that? I can't remember what tank was before that. A lot of the tanks recently have been balanced and not these super overpowered broken things making the game pay to win, which is really nice, because at one point there they were just releasing OP premium, OP premium, OP premium, and now it's balanced, 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 and it's pretty nice actually to not have super OP tanks coming into the game and ruining everything. Because the Kanonen, I think people are enjoying the tank. I'm not sure though. 260, it seems like an actual fun tank to play. I actually kind of want it because it looks kind of fun to play. It's mobile. It's got a nice gun. Sure, the armor profile isn't amazing, but it looks like a pretty fun tank to play. And then this one right here, of course, looks like a fun tank to play. Stuff like the Hellcats, everyone says it's fun, but it's not overpowered. So I'm actually, I'm liking this trend here. Wargaming is releasing a lot more, not so overpowered tanks. They nerfed the Yaw, so that's not overpowered anymore. They nerfed the Turtle Mark 1, which I think they definitely over-nerfed, and that's actually underpowered now because the armor on that was supposed to be amazing, and now it's actually really bad armor. So hopefully they buff that, because that was way too over-nerfed. But that's, balanced, if you could say bad even. And then the list goes on and on of pretty balanced tanks. So there are a few that are overpowered, like the LT432 and the Samwa SN, but those still have time to be nerfed, hopefully before they enter the game. We'll have to see though. But yeah, in general, I am enjoying this trend that I have seen from Wargaming, where stuff's not super broken. But yeah, in general, Brigada Panther seems to be a fun tank that I think a lot of people will enjoy this tank, but then again, it's not going to be a broken tank. It will be a tier 6, so hopefully, hopefully this just comes for gold or for money, and then not in crates, because this is a tier 6. Tier 6 should not be in crates, but every tank so far before, really for the last year, has been in crates, so we'll have to see. Who knows what's going to be happening with the Brigada Panther. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.